Namaste, Jai Bharat. I'm just thinking, do we need a religion? Or why do we need a religion? To think about that, let's try to know what religion is, or rather, before that, let's see why we go to religion and why we approach religion. Most likely, as I see, is because we go to religion when you are in difficulties which are beyond your control. Of course, there are many things beyond our control, and all those things which are beyond our control, we try to enter through religion to a concept of God and ask His help. This is the very basic rudimentary function of religion in practical living of human existence. But the question is, what is religion? There are so many people, those great scholars in the world like Kitagawa, Otto Rudolph, and Messier Elie, Europeans, and my teacher, Cassian Rodriguez Aguera, a lot of people who try to define religion. I'll just say one most appealing religion, it's a fundamental intentionality of human consciousness towards the sacred. This appealed to me a lot. Alright, but that's not the point, and there's no point in speaking of philosophy of religion to a common man who wants religion because he needs support for things beyond his control. There's so many things beyond one's control. So where you have or you envisage a concept of God through religion. Now, let's say there are multiple religions in the world. Basically, two traditions. I say basically two traditions: the Semitic and the Bharatiya traditions. Semitics, there are three religions. Basically, it has many versions. That's another thing. And these three religions in the Semitic traditions are, as Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. Bharatiya traditions have got four religions. If you call Hindu Dharma religion, none of these Bharatiya dharmas are really religions in that sense of the term, because there is a lot of difference between religion and dharma. So in Bharat there is another dharma, and Jain dharma, Bauddha dharma, and also the Sikh dharma. Four. So we have one share that better. Taking the whole world, we have more contributed. In any case, all world religions are the contribution of the East. I don't know why the West is so proud of being West, but definitely these transcendental things are contribution exclusively from the East and not from the West. Think about that. That's interesting for us. So, I'm not saying that someone is less, someone is more. I'm not saying that. But let's come back to the point. We have a concept of God. People have a concept of God, and to whom you ask for things when you're in trouble. Simple as that. But when you talk about established religions, you have to follow certain norms. There are a lot of do's and don'ts, and there is also an aspect of making that God happy or pleasing that God. Now here we are putting lot of human mental emotions into a concept of God which is supposed to be essentially transcendental. What surety you have that God will be happy when you try to feed Him something which you like? If there is a genuine God, He must be beyond all those things. He must be definitely beyond all these things, like Shankara says, Manobuddhya Hankara Chitta Nidaham. He must be beyond all these things. So, in all possibilities, you try to please a God in Semitic traditions, or a deity in Bharatiya traditions and other traditions, because you try to be happy. You will be happy when you get certain things, and you offer the same things and expect that deity to be happy. We have a lot of deities in Sanatana Dharma, where we do sort of lot of offerings, and that offerings are actually, if you seriously see philosophically, are, see, we have a concept in Bharatiya Sanatana Dharma that you are essentially divine because of the Upanishadisha mantra. You are that. Also the Mahavakya, the Vedas, you are that. Only thing you don't know it for various reasons, and there is no explanation. I am not going to, because it takes a lot of time. So the thing is that when you try to do an Agnihotra, trying to make a deity happy, then you are trying to make something essentially divine in you happy. That means you are making yourself happy. So there is no dichotomy between the God outside you and the God inside you. God I am using for practical purposes. We don't have a concept of God. Whatever the gods, goddesses we have are used in small g's to mean that they are not ultimate reality. So look at this. You are trying to bring out the essential divinity within you. Let me say quickly, real in a plain language, that you are trying to make the essential divinity within you awaken. You are trying to please the essential divinity within you through some one or the other deities, fine. So that much is okay, acceptable. But when you are trying to talk about a dichotomy between the man and the God, there are two different entities. You talk about two different entities, and one entity, the God, is a creator, and you are another entity, the creation. There is no relation of being one. You are not one. You remain two. Creation and creator, that level is really different. Very serious difference. Creation can never be even approximating creator. So there you expect something like a feudal boss God whom you have to obey. Obedience. When you look at Muhammad Iqbal, he talks about absolute obedience to religion. He is not speaking about God. He talks about religion, Islam. Absolute obedience. So with all those things, if you have to be under pressure to obey many laws of God's, if you don't like them, if you like them, it is spontaneous and natural, that's fine. But if you happen to not like many of these rules, then if you have to follow it under compulsion, what is the point in being religious? Ask yourselves. Some bit of introspection is needed. As a Hindu, I have no problem, because if you go to a Mimamsa philosophy, I will not accept what I don't like or what I am not convinced. Liking and disliking is secondary, but getting convinced is another thing. I may not go when I am not convinced, and I have good varieties of offers in front of me, and I can choose and pick one deity if I want. And I can also be a Nastika, in the sense I don't belong to all those things. I will be of my own. But Nastika cannot be translated as a theism because of very technical reasons. So this is something which I would like to think aloud, nothing more, nothing less. What religion does to you? I remember Swami Vivekananda once said, when he was young, that each time you answer, each time you pray, and each time you get an answer from a prayer, you must know that it's your own self that answers the prayers. I think he speaks volumes in these sentences. Swami Vivekananda. So with such some confusions, we can meet again, we can come again, we can discuss again. Until we meet next time, it is Namaste, Jai Bharat and Jai Shri Ram.